If growth or change has started feeling heavier than it should inside your organization, this show is for you. This is not a political commentary show. This is leadership energy freak, because this week's headlines don't just affect markets, they affect posture in your meetings. They affect defensiveness in revenue conversations. They affect the emotional temperature inside your team. And when external pressure rises, leaders often widen their strategy instead of clarifying it. They say yes more quickly, they hedge, they defend, they overcompensate, and slowly legacy drifts. Today we're not reacting to headlines, we're using them to diagnose whether fear might be driving decisions inside your organization. Growth feels heavy, we're going to make it lighter. Let's begin. If it feels like there's too much happening right now, you're not wrong. But here's what most founders don't realize. When the world gets louder, companies don't get clearer. They get heavier. More priorities, more decisions, more conversations, less momentum. And if your company has 20, 50, 100, 400 employees, this is exactly when growth starts to stall. Let me show you why. Over the last few weeks, the volume of headlines has been nonstop. Global tension, economic shifts, market reactions, policy decisions. And while those stories feel external, they walk straight into your organization because your leadership team is reading them. Your employees are reacting to them, and you are making decisions inside that environment. And when pressure rises like this, something predictable happens inside growing companies. You don't simplify, you expand. And you say yes to more opportunities, more conversations, more adjustments, and it feels responsible. You're bracing for impact, right? It feels like leadership, but it creates something else. It creates weight. And here's the moment I want you to pay attention to. Are more decisions coming back to you right now? Is your team busier but slower? Are priorities multiplying instead of narrowing? Are customers starting to feel inconsistency? That's not a capacity problem. That's not a motivation problem. That's a structural problem. And here's the truth founders need to hear. Founders don't create bottlenecks intentionally. They create them by succeeding. The company grows, but the way decisions get made doesn't evolve with it, so everything starts routing back to you. So what once worked no longer works. Look at what's happening right now globally. Conflict is escalating. Economic signals are shifting. Markets are reacting. And what do leaders do in that environment? They tighten control. They pull decisions inward. They try to manage risk by being involved in everything. That maybe works at under 10 employee companies, but it breaks at 50. Because now your leadership team hesitates. Decisions slow down. Execution gets inconsistent. Customers feel it. And growth stalls. When companies hit this moment, it's because of 4 forces have drifted. Not in theory, in reality. Impact becomes unclear. People lose alignment. Performance gets scattered, and politics, power, expands. What do I mean by politics and power? What's the meaning behind that? Who actually makes decisions? Who influences the direction? Where does the power really sit? When those 4 are misaligned in your company, the company doesn't stop working, it just gets heavier and disconnected. So here's the question. Has your company gotten heavier in the last 30 to 60 days? Not busier, but heavier? More effort, less movement? Because if that's happening, you're not dealing with a market issue. You're dealing with an architecture issue. So this week, ask your leadership team 4 questions. What impact are we actually here to create right now? Do our teams trust how decisions are being made? Are we focused on the outcomes that actually move the business? And where are decisions really being made? Not on paper, but in reality. Because the moment those answers get unclear, everything slows down. If your company has between 20 and 400 employees and things feel heavier right now than they did even a couple of months ago, don't ignore that. That's the signal. The purpose architecture diagnostic shows you exactly where your organization is losing alignment so you can simplify, refocus, and move forward with clarity. The link is below. Because leadership doesn't get harder when companies grow. It gets heavier when the structure doesn't evolve. And that's how organizations stall. But it's also how they evolve together.